I think I visited like 30, 35 countries in Europe, in Asia, in the US, Canada to visit our partners. And pretty much be with them, teach to their technical team about woodworking because they are more on the SolidWorks side, let's say mechanical engineering. So give them some tips on the wood, on the CNCs and all these kind of things. And that's where we really start to expand our business.
Welcome to Verify in Field, the millwork podcast. Here's Jacob.
Welcome back to Verify in Field, everybody. Today I'm excited to have a special guest on, Bruno Calatayud from EFICAD, and they're makers of SWOOD CAD/CAM software. So Bruno, thanks for joining us today.
Hey Jacob, thanks for having me.
To get started, would you mind just giving a little bit of your background and how you got involved in software and manufacturing?
Sure. My background is engineering. So I did engineering school in France, where I'm from, and get out of school in 2009. And actually, EFICAD and SWOOD is my first job. So I directly started doing the first training, first implementation, post creation, everything related technical for this new software that we released a few months before I start with the company. And from there, we did the first event in the US at the SolidWorks convention in 2012. And that's where we start to meet international partners to push our development in different countries. So I start to take that as a new responsibility in my role, be able to travel a lot. I think I visited like 30, 35 countries in Europe, in Asia, in the US, Canada to visit our partners. And pretty much be with them, teach to their technical team about woodworking because they are more on the SolidWorks side, let's say mechanical engineering. So give them some tips on the wood, on the CNCs and all these kind of things. And that's where we really start to expand our international business. And we came in 2015, the potential, let's say, of the North American market during the show. Same thing the year after during IWF in Atlanta. And that's where we decided to open a branch in the US. So I moved from France, arrived in Boston in 2019. And we start the business here so far. And we got the team here now.
Awesome. EFICAD is start solely to produce SWOOD, or is there a little bit more history before the software product came about?
Yeah, there's much more before. So EFICAD were founded in 1989, actually, by two professors. So we come from educational world. They didn't have any CAD solution for their classes. So they decided to create their own CAD for mechanical CNC, for metalwork. But pretty quick after that, in 1991, they start to partnership with SCM to create a wood CAD solution based on AutoCAD at this time. And that was the really beginning, let's say, of the wood product for EFICAD. We did another solution in SolidWorks in 2001, but we also came from educational, let's say that French government decided in 2001. And naturally, the integration in SolidWorks and the wood solution we had before in AutoCAD, we decided to merge everything.
Okay. And so SWOOD is the product basically that you guys are all focused on today, or are there others still?
No, it's the main one. We have some historical customers on the whole solution, but we still work on with them and we support them. But the main focus and 95% of the development we do is on SWOOD. Yeah.
Awesome. So then let's talk a little bit more about SWOOD specifically. SWOOD is a CAD/CAM specific application that works in SolidWorks, correct?
So we are what we call an add-on to SolidWorks. So we live inside SolidWorks, we work with SolidWorks files, but we bring on top of the 3D parametric platform SolidWorks software, wood features regarding designing process, engineering steps on the project, and at the same time, the CAM and nesting solution. So you have really a complete SolidWorks environment. You can use everything, the SolidWorks software, and we come with SWOOD to bring, let's say, the wood features in SolidWorks.
Awesome. And so you mentioned that EFICAD had previously originally developed something that worked with CAD, and then another solution based on SolidWorks, and then all of that kind of combined to create SWOOD, which is now in SolidWorks. What was the kind of evolution of graduating from a CAD-based solution to choosing SolidWorks as what you're overlaying in?
So I think really see the potential of 3D for the industry was what will design us to go on this platform and to bring the wood feature on this platform. That's something we still see a lot, let's say for our customers that switch from CAD to 3D, where it's a complete different world. We stay on the same type of project, we work on the same type of product, let's say, but you have a different mindset when you start to work in 3D. And I think that's where we wanted to go from the beginning.
Okay, awesome. And so what type of clients, what types of manufacturers are using SWOOD? Is it entirely cabinetry and woodworking based? What is the makeup of the user base of SWOOD look like today?
So the main focus, it's on custom cabinetry, custom millwork, let's say, but we have also lots of customer in retail and shop fitting, store fixtures. We also have standard furniture applications, sofa or office furniture, cabinetry, of course. And we also have customer in joinery applications, so people doing doors, windows. We counted 2 years ago to start to really sort our panel of customer. And we have up to 50 categories, I think, of customers today. So I would say that 80% is between custom millwork and retail and shop fittings, but we also have 20 other percent where are really spread out the capabilities and what the wood material can bring on the market. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And so the people that are using it, like, what does their workflow look like? Because it's a full CAD and CAM solution, right? You have all of SolidWorks plus what SWOOD brings on top of it. So can you talk a little bit about what the workflow of kind of the ideal user of SWOOD looks like?
Yeah, like I said, you stay inside SolidWorks. So you're going to be able, from the design project, to have all the geometry analysis in 3D and the 3D environment to create the toolpath and generate the CNC code for the machines. We also use the same files to create the optimization for the nesting and flat table. So we stay on the same design. So your design is what you're going to use for all the different steps you need to go to the shop and to the machines. So the biggest advantage on that for our customers is when you're going to make a change on your design, you don't have to export, you don't have to re-import another platform, and it's going to live on the same file and it's going to be there. And every new change is applied, maybe a new hole, new pocket, it's already applied on the machining and already applied on the export and the data we're going to send to the machine and the shop at the end.
Okay. And so for those that maybe aren't familiar with SolidWorks, can you talk like about SolidWorks, the difference of SolidWorks versus just CAD or versus other 3D solutions? Because from my understanding, SolidWorks, a lot of people may have interfaced it with product design or other types of industries, right? It's a very broad software, but it has benefits over just CAD, right? Like you get, even without SolidWorks itself, you can get a bill of materials, you can get some things out of it that just regular CAD maybe doesn't give you. Can you talk a little bit about just how SolidWorks works and in relation to other solutions people may be familiar with?
Sure. So yeah, SolidWorks is a native 3D parametric software. So first of all, when you design, you can design parametrically everything. So just changing the dimension, you can change your entire product. Like you said, you have the base of CAD inside, but you have other plugin part of SolidWorks that you can directly use. So for example, in our industry, one that our customers use is a 2D drawings. So same thing, based on the 3D file you have, your 2D drawing is already prepared and you can do your detail view or cut view or all these kind of things to have really the final result for your architect or for your customers ready on that. I think that's where really there is a big difference with CAD and with other software. It's all the different plugins you have on top of that. So if you do metal work, and sometimes our customers can do that as well, you already have sheet metal, you already have weldments embedded inside. You have a complete surfacing module where you can really go complex on shapes and definition of special products. And that's all the kind of things, of course, we use also in SWOOD to bring to our customers the possibility to create custom product and final product with all the engineering steps and the possibility to go to the shop at the end.
Okay. And so then you guys overlay on top of that, right? It's an add-in, as you mentioned. Can you talk about how SWOOD itself operates? What is it doing? What does it add to SolidWorks that SolidWorks doesn't have by itself? And how does it do that? Is it a database? Is it just files? Like, how does the architecture of SWOOD work? And what does it add on to SolidWorks?
So we have four main modules. So we're going to have the design. So on top of your standard CAD, we're also going to have additional libraries, methodology, and features to speed up the process to create your wood project. For example, we're going to have a library of drawers, hinges, fronts that you can use with a simple drag and drop to complete your project. We also embed all the material management for panel processing. So everything regarding grain direction, edge bending, thickness management, laminating process, all this data necessary at the end in the shop. We bring that for the design portion. You can create your box, your cabinet from scratch. You can also use an existing file and just apply the final steps regarding engineering and material management. And on top of that, we're going to bring the manufacturing solution. So we have a CAM, which is our core solution for manufacturing. That's where we're going to be able to define strategies, toolpaths, and analyze the 3D model in SolidWorks to have everything ready for the machines. And we also bring the nesting. For point-to-point process, you can use the CAM. For the flat table, you're going to use the CAM and the nesting as well. The final module we have is a product we named SWOOD Center, special product or semi-custom product, let's say, to automate the process. So if you have an external database with your sales team, for example, with a list of order and custom products, maybe with dimensions, material, we're able to connect this database to the product you are designing in SolidWorks and SWOOD. And we are able to rebuild, create the final version, the custom version of your product, generate the CNC code, generate everything automatically. So you can run, let's say, pretty much all your production just with one click. That requires, of course, to have your product completely designed and defined in SolidWorks and SWOOD, but at the end, we can really automate everything for our customers. Like I said, we live inside SolidWorks. So every time you move a SolidWorks file, you're going to move all those SWOOD data at the end. The only external files we have, it's at the end when we generate our reporting to generate the CNC code and the document or data file for the documentation.
Okay, so those libraries you talked about at the beginning, right? You have libraries of drawer systems and hardware and things like that. Are those essentially just models that you can pull in, or is there other data attached to those as well?
There's a couple of things. So raised models, it's fully parametric. So every time you're going to change the dimensions, your drawer is going to adjust to the new dimensions. And we also bring machining on top of that. So when you drag your drawer, you're going to have the drilling operation on your side panel to have the slides connected to your drawer, between your drawer and your cabinet, for example. So all these kind of things come with one feature. We provide the library to our customers. They have access to a server to download new library that we create, but everything being based on SolidWorks files and assemblies, they can also create their own items. So they can bring 3D file in this specific feature, put everything in the model definition, and use the same block feature at the end with their own system.
So is it very much, it sounds like it's very much what you get. And so by that meaning, like if I just model something in SolidWorks, then even if it's not something in my library, if I add the machining to my parts in my model, SWOOD is able to analyze that and create the CAM output as well?
Yep, that's correct. We have customers that really are focused on custom part or custom project, and it doesn't have the design module with us. And they just use SolidWorks as the CAD and the CAM to create the toolpath at the end. So it's really a flexible and scalable solution. So if your bottleneck is, for example, to go to the machine, you can definitely start with the nesting. And in the future, if you need also to speed up the process on the design, you can bring the SWOOD design module on top of that. Yeah.
And so for the design module, though, say are people using it to have libraries of how they build cabinets, and they can just drop in a cabinet that's the way they build it, and it gives them the model and the drawing, and as well as it's ready to go for machining?
Yeah, so you have your full library. Everything is customizable. You can duplicate that, so you can create a custom version for your project pretty quick. We have a layout feature for that, so you can just select points on your sketch, on your layout sketch, which represents the floor. And yeah, I mean, everything is attached to the model. So the machining, the CAM, the drawing for the cabinet, the drawing for the project, everything is linked to the same files.
Awesome. And then as far as output, it's a full CAM output, meaning you can use SWOOD if you have the right module to nest straight to your CNC, or create individual machine code files, or optimize to a saw.
So we export to CNC machines directly. Of course, with the 35 years of experience, we have post-processor for that. So we are able to really go directly to the machine with all the tooling information, all the detail regarding drilling head, aggregates, all of these kind of things. Our CAM solution is a full CAM up to 5-axis milling operation. But if your machine has this type of capability, we can drive them as well. The connection to the beam saw today is something we still use our optimizer software. And so we export all the data of panels and it's optimized with Cutrite or some other software that exists on the market. That's something we are looking at. But for now, we really stay focused on the CNC router machines.
Okay, so you'll output like a PTX file or parts file and board file that can import into your sawing optimization software.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the ideal use case of SWOOD look like? What's your ideal client that's using it to really improve and streamline their production workflows? How are they using SWOOD compared to what maybe other companies are doing that haven't adopted SWOOD?
Our ideal customer today, obviously, it's people that already have SolidWorks, but don't use SWOOD to go to the shop and to the machines. And also anyone that's really struggling with custom products. So could be because they have a standard cabinetry software and they need to go back to AutoCAD to be able to create that. That's where really usually they come to us and they say, okay, I want to be more flexible on the offer I have for my customers as a manufacturer.
So you're seeing people sometimes using it to supplement their existing, maybe they have a cabinet vision or a microrealm or mosaic or something for their more standard casework, but they're struggling with more custom stuff and they're starting with using it there. And then do you see people eventually start with supplementing and then maybe they realize they can do everything in it?
Yeah, that's usually the standard path for them. So they take maybe one seat for special product, but with the time, they see that they can really do and bring everything under the same platform. And that's why they move completely with us. Okay. On top of that, the fact that you also have the flexibility to have metal work. If you work on some project where you need to work with suppliers that use metal, you can bring or you can even do drawings for them regarding really having the project all together under the same files.
What about as we have evolved, I've seen a lot over the last 5 years that remote teams or people that are working in the cloud has become more and more common. How do you see teams using SolidWorks, or how does SolidWorks work with my engineer maybe isn't on site where my shop is, or maybe I have 3 or 4 engineers that all need to collaborate on the same projects? How does collaboration as well as spread out workforces work with SolidWorks?
There's 2 types, I think, today with SolidWorks. You have a standard PDM capabilities with SolidWorks, so you can really have your file living on the server and you can grab it locally when you need to use it. That's also where we are able to manage revision management and different workflow for approval of the different steps of your design and engineering with your team. The future of SolidWorks is probably on the cloud. They start to present that a long time ago, and now we can see more and more new solutions coming from SolidWorks. You have a complete platform which named 3D Experience, where you have different applications for design and everything like that. And you start to have even some SolidWorks version that are directly connected to the cloud regarding the data management.
Okay. So definitely see things moving towards.
For sure. Yeah, for sure on the data management and be able to share the project with different users. Yeah, that's something really that's going to be pushed in the next few years. I think the design is going to be starting and maybe it's going to take more time to be on the cloud.
Okay. But today it's most people are using the check-in or check-out of the server through a PDM.
That's still the main thing, at least for our customers, because we are today on the desktop version of SolidWorks. Mm-hmm. So our customers still use the standard PDM software, check-in, check-out, revision, management, and workflow approval.
Okay. Outside of move to the cloud, what else do you see in the future for SWOOD and just CAD/CAM software in general?
I think we are really focused on the data on our side, be able to have reliable data, so continue to improve our automation on the CAM side. It's where we really want to push our effort for the next years. So be able to recognize more things, maybe have different type of strategies, and maybe size of machining you want to manage, all these kind of things, and be able, of course, to share that in the shop or in even other departments. Today, we export documents. We probably see that in the future being like a database that's where everyone can be connected and be able to work in the company.
What advice do you have for those that maybe are listening and are exploring, hey, we have pain points in our engineering, we feel like we needed a new solution, maybe we're considering SWOOD, looking at what's on the marketplace. What advice would you have for a shop owner or an engineering leader that's starting to explore a new CAD CAM solution?
For me, I think it's to be able to identify the bottlenecks. If you see that, for example, you have 3 designers and 1 programmer, and the programmer doesn't have the time to program everything coming from the design and engineering office, that's where you are able to maybe be more focused on something like our solution and be able to get your streamlined process really from design to manufacturing. So be able to identify that, be able to have the people involved in the solution and have their feedback about how they are using today and what could be a good solution for them in the future. But that's probably the best way to find a good solution for what you need in your company.
Awesome. And so if people are interested in finding out more about SWOOD or reaching out and seeing if it's good for them, what's the best way for them to find out more and to contact you guys?
Obviously, our website, so swood.eficad.com. That's where you're going to find mostly all the information and our contact. They can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well, present on this platform. And we also do different shows during the year. So we were in Vegas, we're going to be in Atlanta here. That's where you can find us. Just an email, a phone call. That's also possible to reach out to us.
Awesome. We'll link that in the show notes to your website, as well as how people can reach out and get a hold of you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, advice for any cabinet shop owners out there that are listening?
Yeah, I hope you guys understand better now what SWOOD is about. And yeah, if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are on the North American market for the last 6 years. We had customers before, but we are pushing. So yeah, I know that we are still new, let's say, in the industry. If you are curious and want to know about how we work on the 3D world, let's say, with our solution, we'll be more than happy to show you that during a presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruno, for coming on and sharing about SWOOD, and look forward to having you on again in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Do you want to stay up to date about industry insights, new content, and our community of millworkers? Go to ductworksmw.com to sign up for our newsletter. I'll see you in the next episode of Verify in Field.